Welcome to Never Other Fight podcast with your host, Darius Warren, also known as D. I have the beautiful Muva Dame in the building tonight. Yes. See, I need to get them clapping effects right now. So
You do.
I do, because it'll be clapping right now. So, but I really do appreciate you being able to do this, and be able to tell your story. Um, and it's one that I have kind of dug into you a little bit. I have listened to a couple of things that you've been on already. So I do know a little bit. Like, what I'm saying, I know a little bit. I ain't do no deep dive into Mother Dame, but I did a little bit. So what I'm gonna say is that I appreciate you coming on to the Never Out of the Fight podcast, and I pray that your testimony, your words of wisdom, whatever you may give tonight, may lead somebody in, to Christ, one, and then to, a lot of times people may be going through the exact same thing that you have experienced, and it says in the word that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. So I believe that everybody has a story to tell, and we gonna jump right to it. So, tell us, who is Mother Dame?
Muva Dame is my artist name,
Okay.
and it became my alter ego back in like 2021. And I believe I chose that name because I just finally decided to stop being a victim of my circumstances and just kind of using my weaknesses um, to mold me into who I've become as far as an artist, as far as an entrepreneur, and as far as the woman that I am now.
Okay. So my thing is so tell us about the the other person of Mother Dame, not your artist's name. I want to know about.
Denacia.
Okay.
Denacia is my real name.
Uh huh.
Um, who is she? Denacia is a firecracker. She is. She is resilient. She is driven. She is a pure heart. Um, she's a lover of God. She's
That's
shy.
really that's really good. That's really good. So I'm gonna ask you this. I always ask people when they come on here. I want to learn a little bit about your upbringing. So where are you from?
Originally, I'm from New York, Queens, New York.
Okay, Queens. That
Mhm.
wouldn't be happen to be Jamaica Queens.
Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, Jamaica Queens. So
Yes.
in that upbringing, how did your upbringing help you navigate through some of, help you get to where you are today?
I feel like growing up in New York gave me a lot of, or played a role in my independence.
Uh-huh.
On top of that, I feel like coming from a really busy, um, high traffic, high paced city, it allowed me to be adaptable in multiple places. Um, it allowed me to, as I'm naturally a what they call a late bloomer. It allowed me to keep up the pace with everything that goes on, especially right now in a society of digital and social media. Um, but I feel like it also like played a role in my attitude and my character. Um, I'm tougher than I look, basically.
Okay. So I did do a little diving, like I said, I did a little diving. So I happened to hear that I believe it was your father was a pastor or a minister.
hmm
Okay.
He was for a very short period of time. Right before he got sick, he's been on bed rest for MS about 20 years now.
Man.
So him being in the pulpit was very short lived for me
Yeah.
because I had just moved to Atlanta with my mom, and he was just now getting into his walk with Christ. He's about 65 now. He
Man.
started like really, 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 really being covered in the blood of Jesus around his 40th birthday. I remember he tells me this story all the time. His 40th birthday, he had a huge party. He told all his friends to come out. He like, yeah, this is our last time drinking and smoking, and they thought he was joking. And a lot of people have never seen him again since then, because he truly devoted his life to Christ. But even with us being long distance, my father has always been that rock for me. I feel like we all need that rock, but he has always been that person that's like, read your Bible, make sure you pray, make sure you find your own relationship with God. And my dad is so tough. He's so tough. He treats me like a son. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he's always been that person to steer me in the right direction, or more so, train up a child in the way that they should go, and you'll never depart from him. So shout out to my daddy.
Okay. So I will also ask you along with that, what is it that I believe well, I will say this. What is it that your parents taught you that you have used or has helped you in your life today?
My father told me to pray first and think about or worry about the rest later. Um, I remember when I was in 5th grade, I had got my computer stolen. Well, not stolen, taken. My mother took it from me because I was doing stuff on the computer I wasn't supposed to. However, I was just bored. I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But I apologized for it, and my dad was like, "You know how your mom is? She's not giving it back, but you know who will?" He's like, "I will." And back then, I was like, "Yeah, okay, daddy, whatever." And that was my first time like really experiencing prayer. So my dad definitely instilled prayer into me, because when I prayed that day, my mother came home and gave me my computer back. And from there, I realized the power of prayer.
Oh,
But um, definitely, they instilled a prayer life into me. My mother has helped out with my hustle, my drive, never taking no for an answer. I would say my dad has also instilled like the strength that I have as far as how I handle situations and people. Um, for me, being an only child, of course, I'm naturally like independent, but I'm really big on like standing 10 toes, no matter who's against you. As long as you got God with you, you should be good.
yeah. Well, hey, look, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. So, I got a lot of questions.
Mhm.
But I don't want to ask so many questions. I want you to be on here. I just want to be able to hear your story. But I start off. I ask a little bit of questions to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. So, what I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna do a little something different this time. I have like a little lightning round that I'm gonna go through right now. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, and I want to see how you answer those. So the lightning round is just about like, do you like coffee or tea?
T,
You like tea? Are you a morning or a night person?
a night person.
Okay, your favorite worship song? Because I had to go through this. Your favorite worship song?
My favorite worship song at the moment is mm, I was doing Holy Ghost by Kim Burrell, like
Okay,
over and over and over again.
okay.
Between that and I'm Still Here by Dorinda.
Oh yeah, okay,
Those will be on repeat all morning.
okay. And so since I do, we're gonna get into this too, but I'm gonna ask because I had to write it down. What is your favorite makeup product?
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, see, I told you I got to get in
I don't
there.
have like a favorite brand.
Okay,
That's for
okay.
sure. I don't have a favorite brand. And that's the only reason being is because there's so many things that's demonic that we don't know about. So I'll be scared to like really indulge into a brand, not
Yeah.
really knowing enough history of it or how they stem, or what they stem from.
Mhm.
But I would say lip gloss.
Oh,
I
lip
can't go
gloss.
nowhere without lip gloss. So it really don't matter who. But there's a brand that I really like. I was gonna show you, but it's called Ruby Kisses. Ooh,
Yes.
it's somewhere right here. Yeah, Ruby Kisses. They got like this lip tint. Crazy.
Okay. So another one. What is uh what's one word that describes you or your journey? Or you can say, well, what's one word that describes you? And then after that, what's one word that describes your journey? Or could you
One word that describes me would be mm,
told you.
One word that describes me would be well-rounded.
Okay. I like that.
One word that describes my journey would be resilience.
That's it. That's it. And we're going to get into that journey. We're going to talk about it because I know I do want you to touch on your career in singing. Cause I know you had this song called Tell Me. And that I kind of heard it. It was all right, it was really good. Not one all right, it was really good. But is that
Thank you.
so I would ask you what led you down this path of music? I know you talked about being in the church, right? Your dad was a pastor, and but I also want did you ever sing in the choir or anything like that that helped develop those skills?
So when I was living in New York, um, we were like literally in church back to back. I want to say throughout the week. It wasn't just go on Sunday. So back then, of course, all of my family is in New York. So it was like one of those things where when you got your family around you and they know you can do something, it's like, yeah, we have to cook out, let the cousins do a dance in front of everybody. So that's how they always treated me. Like, yeah, put her up there. She liked to sing. So I remember being in church one day. I probably was like 7 years old, and my cousins put me in front of the church to sing "His Eyes on the Sparrow."
Oh
I
my
was so
goodness.
scared, and I didn't notice that leading up to that week that's what they was prepping me for because they would be in the house playing the piano, and I would hear my aunt like trying to like train me to learn the words and stuff. And when I got up there, I was nervous, but felt I felt a love that I never felt.
Yeah.
And it just made me keep going. So from there, that's when I started joining different choirs at different churches. And then when I moved to New York, um, I've excuse me, and then when I moved to Atlanta, I seen people my age, people older than me, chasing a music career. Like really chasing it, like really
Yeah.
putting money into it, really doing music videos. And I'm looking like, oh, this is for real. You could really do this. So I want to say by the age of I want to say by the end of middle school, people started knowing that I can sing, and then by high school, everybody kind of knew,
Yeah.
and it was just like waiting on like, well, what you gonna do with it? So I went from joining the choir my freshman year to doing a talent show to trying out for the dance team, just like becoming like an artist.
Yeah.
Um, I have extreme stage fright. And I don't want to say I still have it to this day because I would like to think that I'm a bit better now. But I have extreme stage fright. So by the time that I've done all these shows or, done music videos and I kind of didn't get the acceptance or validation that I was looking for, I was ready to give up. But leaving high school, um, becoming an entrepreneur is what led me into getting back into artistry because I was like, hey, if you can start your own business, it's successful, it's within busy, you can convert these clients into being supporters of your music because they're women. If you're making music for women. So start writing and it is up from there.
Man. So I'm gonna ask you this. What's one of your favorite songs from when you were singing? I mean, did you write music or were you just did you
hmm
just okay.
I wrote my first song, which is on YouTube called Catfish. It's under my real name. It's called "Do Not See a Catfish." And that
Wow.
was the first song I ever wrote. I wrote it during my senior year.
Oh man.
I'm lying. I wrote it during my junior year.
Okay.
Everybody was going to prom. I was so bad in school. I kept getting kicked out. But because of that, I wasn't allowed to go to prom. So my boyfriend at the time, he was very popular and he went with the other most popular girl in the school. I was popular for being bad and pretty, but she was popular for just being pretty, like pretty
Yeah.
sweet girl. She go to class, mind the business. So I felt a little jealous. Of course, him, he like, yo, it's just for the pictures. And I'm like, no, everybody get out. But I ended up writing a song about that, which is so I wrote Catfish. And from there, I just kept writing my own music. I never really did much of covers. I never really dropped covers on YouTube and stuff. That was never really my thing. I watched a lot of covers coming up because I grew up in the YouTube culture.
Yeah.
And I used to think that I was going to be on YouTube full time, but definitely write my own music.
Yeah. So what was one of your favorite performances you did? Or, you know,
One of my favorite performances was the one I did in high school.
yeah,
I did the live version of "Speechless" by Beyonce,
okay.
and I had like 8 dancers. I choreographed the dance. I got our outfits together. We did amazing. They wanted us to win, but they felt like it was inappropriate for a high school talent show. But
Oh yeah, Beyonce will take you there, won't she? She'll mess you up. She'll mess you up. But I will say this, for those that do follow you, I mean, make sure y'all go and follow her. Can you tell people where they can follow you at?
at the moment, I'm on all platforms under Muva Dame, Muvadame. That's mother, like mother, but if a New Yorker was saying mother,
Yeah.
Muva Dame on all platforms.
Okay. All right. So let's dig a little deeper. So in what stopped your kind of music career, if we can if we can go there. What was it that changed the trajectory of where you were going?
Well, I broke my leg in 2021 on New Year's. On New Year's Eve, actually, I walked into the new year with a broken leg.
Wow.
Um, that was probably like, okay, let's rewind.
Hmm.
What led up to the leg breaking?
Yeah.
What really started my career kind of like dwindling down was I was in the midst of a contract with Love and Hip Hop,
Hmm.
and I was invited on by an ex of mine. He wanted us to share our story, how we met, and of course, some of those things are scripted. So they wanted us to create a different type of storyline for it to be a bit more interesting. However, what my ex didn't know is that my current life at the time did not need any scripting because it was ghetto. Um, I was pregnant,
Man.
and it, of course, wasn't his. I wasn't messing with him. I had a boyfriend at the time. My boyfriend didn't know that my ex invited me to be on the show. I just told him that I was auditioning for it. And long story short, because of the situation, I was under high stress. It caused me to like fall off in my business and like just really get distraught and be like, oh my God, what are you gonna do with a child? What are you gonna do? What is going on? You just moved into your first apartment last year. Like you don't know how to be an adult. How you gonna have a baby? Um, but I'm not gonna lie, from that moment, um, if I'm being completely honest, and the only reason I can say this is because God delivered me from it, is that was the first moment that I chose an idol over God.
Man.
And when I thought that I was going to be on the show in the midst of me dealing with stress and in the midst of my situation with my significant other, the stress on everybody became, well, just don't do it. You ain't gonna have nobody to be there no way. And I would hear that from family, friends, because a lot of people knew me to be like the popular loner. Like, yeah, a lot of people knew me, but I didn't have real support or family for me to really have that type of situation going on. So I kind of chose getting my life together, getting my career together before having a child. On top of that, I was kind of forced by my significant other at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when my career started basically aborting because that's what happens when you do stuff like that. You're creating a covenant with a demon named Monarch unknowingly. And when things in your life just start to crash and fall, no matter how hard you work, God reminds you of the decision that you made until you get delivered from that. So that's truly what started my career coming to an end. But from there, the relationship that I was in, we tried to continue. And of course, you cannot continue with something that God did not approve of, like
Yeah.
something like that, which was a decision that we both made when we can't make decisions off of God's blessings.
Yeah.
Um, but from there, we tried again. Me and him tried again as far as like dating, and we went out of town. And he took me on a trip to meet his mom. And I want to say the next morning, I broke my leg in 5 places. From there, I was on 11-month bed rest. I fought everybody, my friends, my family, my manager, everybody who was in my life. I was just going off because I was already hurt, dealing with that pain, dealing with that grief. But on top of that, it was like I was seeing my life like shatter, and I couldn't believe it because I felt like I was working so hard for everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
on top of that, I couldn't work. You know, I'm a hairstylist and makeup artist, so I couldn't work to pay my bills. So I just started seeing everything come down. So the last thing that I wanted to do was use my voice, which is what I feel like the devil wanted to happen. Unfortunately, for a season, I did allow him to win, but yeah, that's where it started. It started during those moments, and I would say those moments happened around the age of 25 to 26, maybe 27.
Man. So you was going through it for a minute.
Mhm.
So if I ask, I'm gonna go back. So you say you talked about choosing an idol over choosing God, right? How do you? So I would like to say this though. I think we anything that takes the place of him is an idol. I mean, we can make anything an idol. People love their cars. I mean, you can cherish that car so much that I mean, you go outside if a rock or pebble hit it, I mean, your car can become an idol. It says, I know the word talks a lot about if you love your father, or mother, sister, or brother, son, or daughter more than you love me, you're not worthy of me. So I
Mhm.
mean, it's he gave you all of that, but I can understand that too because I too chased chased the wrong things and instead of chasing after him. So, it can take you on a dark path. So, the times that you were going through all of that, what was it that kind of helped guide you, if any, at that point to back to a positive direction? Or did people look at you because of what your family like? Was your mom in the ministry as well, or
My mother wasn't into ministry.
okay?
My mom's mother, my grandmother who
Yeah.
passed outside of my father, was also the one who would have us in church every morning, waking us
Okay.
up 5 in the morning. Like, you about to pray, read your Bible. We're going to church until you get out of school. Like, my grandmother did not play that. She was the monarch before my father got saved.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as like who was my guidance at the time, I didn't have any guidance, which is why I feel like I made the wrong decisions. Excuse me. I also had stopped reading my Bible for a long period of time before I made that decision. Because if I did, I would have the wisdom to know what was right from wrong. Even though we are blessed with discernment, sometimes, of course, we don't use it just because we want to see for ourselves. But that was one of those things that I didn't realize. This is a permanent decision. So seeing for yourself could lead to destruction. Um, but I would say, like God always does, He uses every situation. He knows what we're going to do before we do it. So I feel like He used that moment to bring me into a season of feeling lonely, or I need something to get back into dating that man to lead me to breaking my leg. Because if it wasn't for me being on bed rest, I wouldn't have sat down long enough to truly pick up my Bible and understand it and comprehend it and see what God has been trying to tell me the whole time. So that became my guidance. My guidance was stop
Mm.
going off of how you feel, stop going off what you see around you. I'm gonna sit you down. I'm gonna make you come talk to me. I'm gonna make you do it. Now that you don't want to do it on your own, you done had all the time, all the free time in the world to do it. You don't want to do it on your own. I'll force you to do it. So he was my guidance in that time. Like even when I didn't realize it, he was my guidance.
So that I just want you to talk a little bit about the mental struggle that you faced during those. You said you was on bed rest for 11 months.
11 months,
That's
couldn't
all.
walk to the bathroom. Nobody came to help me get some food on my stomach. I was the skinniest I've ever been. I looked horrible. I would crawl everywhere around my house. My house was so big. Oh, I had to get away my dog. It was so sad. Like
I mean, but what I'm saying is that I'm just imagining me being in somebody's bed, my bed, for 11 months, like struggling. So how do you process that mentally? Like you're sitting there, and so what was running through your head? Like thoughts of suicide, any of these things was what was really going through your head during that time period? Is that like your lowest point?
I would say like the year after that was my lowest point, which was a season of homelessness. But those, I want to say the months started off with, of course, I still had my significant other in the beginning. So it started off with, oh, I'll be fine. I have support. I have friends. People are going to come help me. And then once 3 months went by, and it was like, okay, you probably only ate probably like 5 times out the month. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't cross to the kitchen, you can't cook for yourself. You don't have no money to DoorDash. What is going on? You're feeling low energy. So once you start feeling sick, everything else starts to come in. So that's when I started to feel like mentally drained and depressed. Like I said, I got into a fight with my manager. My manager came over one day trying to check on me. And I got so mad because I'm like, I've been in my bed for 3 months, can't move. You just now come in, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this music off the ground. He like, I need you to heal. I was not trying to hear that. I'm like, boy, I'm in the midst of blowing up. You talking about you need me to heal. So I was going through it, but I went through really, really, really severe depression. I already grew up with depression as
Yeah.
a high school student, but it really hit me then. And I think that even now, as we go through life and we are in a microwave society and everything is like instant gratification, people are moving so fast or rushing all day, every day. We don't make time for God. So when you really do sit down and God convicts you of the things that have already been wrong with you for years and years on end that you never really touched on, that's when you start feeling it. So I would say that I was mentally feeling everything that I had pushed aside, that I have ignored over the years, from already dealing with depression in high school to realizing that, okay, you use relationships to basically avoid the fact that you're not really finding your love with God. Okay, now you're sitting down long enough to see that the same friends that I told you were never your friends, they're not your friends. You're sick, you're down, you can't do nothing for yourself. You're on your last. This is who's here. The same person who's keeping the roof over your head out of nowhere. I'm not gonna say out of nowhere, but by miracles, by grace, which is God. So I was feeling a lot of emotions. I was drained. I was depressed. I was so angry. I was angry at everybody. I was so angry because I felt like I had poured so much into people over the years that nobody was really there. So, like I said, it was a lot of anger on me. Like what? I've been wasting all these years just for nobody to really be there for me. Um.
Man.
So yeah, I would say it was a mix of those emotions.
So at what point uh did that situation being there for, because I'm just imagining, like you just think about it, 11 months, that's almost a year, that's a month shy, 30 days possibly, 31. But I'm saying it within all of that you had a time period of where you just sat and didn't have a choice but to think about certain things that was going on, the direction of your life. But at what point in those 11 months did a shift take place? Like you know,
Um, I, I would say after. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a few people here and there who would try to come by every now and
yeah,
again. And the ones who did, they helped me see the version of myself that connected to them, which helped me see that that person was dying.
yeah,
So when I seen that, that's when that's when I had like a self conviction, and it was like, you're dying. You're dying. Why are you dying? What is wrong with the old
mm,
version of you that God is trying to get rid of? And
yeah,
why is he doing it this way? And I want to say it probably happened like after like 9 months. I think after 9 months, I was just tired. I was fed up. I was tired of crying every day. I was tired of being angry. I was tired of cussing out all my friends because they were there. The ones who did come help me, I was tired of cussing them out because I'm like, they don't deserve it. They trying to help. Um, but I was just tired. And I say this all the time to my friends, like, a real change doesn't truly happen until you get tired of your own shit, you know?
yeah,
So, um, I think after those 9 months, it was just something that was in me, like, I looked in the mirror and I was just like, "You look horrible. Like, you look like what you're going through." And that's usually not like me. Like, I'm used to figure it out,
yeah,
but I was like, "You look like it because you're feeling it. You're feeling this pain. You're seeing how much of an angry person you truly were on the inside. You're seeing all of the attributes of your parents that were that you grew up around as a child that you ignored, that you thought, oh, I'm never gonna be like that, and now you're becoming that. Like it took you being broken to see that. So I would say like those moments made me be like, okay, well now what? And then I just finally like gave up and I was like, that's now what? God is showing you like you're no longer in control. This is the first time in your life you're not in control. Like your first time. You used to be an entrepreneur, you used to going through high school, doing whatever you want. That's why you had there and you graduated because you knew you was smart enough to go get you a high school diploma from online, went and did homeschool in 2 months. Like, why do I have to be in class for a year? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like everything just like just was making sense to me, but also not making sense. Like, oh, you really been thinking this is your show.
man.
And then I just like gave up and I was like, maybe I should pray. When you was younger, got your computer back because you prayed. Your daddy said pray. You believed what your dad said. Maybe you lost your belief. Because if you believed anything, you being you would believe that you could get up right now and walk on your feet, but you cannot. So then I said, well, start praying. So
Mm,
then it slowly started happening. Then I stopped just watching TV, and I'm not gonna lie, I had started smoking at that time
yeah.
for the pain, and to also just like sleep through the pain. It was just painful to be awake. But in the midst of course, I can't get nobody to bring me that. Um, I started getting addicted to my opioids, the pain medicine. And when I seen that, like it just either kept me sleep, kept me drowsy, or kept me like just watching shows that just helped me go to sleep. So eventually I was like, okay, 9 months go by, you've been doing the same thing over and over, you ain't getting no change, you ain't getting no progress. You still can't go to physical therapy because you're not willing to. Maybe you need to feed your mind with some therapy. So then I just started watching people like Jerry Flowers.
Mhm.
I started watching Mike Todd before he lost his mind. Um, and just different pastors. I started watching 2819. That was when it first started before he got really, really big. So
Yeah.
I was just filling myself with the word. And then I just started praying more. And then I'm like, dang, I ain't got nobody to talk to. So let me just talk to God. And then
Mm,
eventually I was just like, God, all right, I give it to you. Like when I finally got content with my situation, like, okay, this is what it is. You can't be angry about it. If anybody does help you, be okay. Okay, when you wake up, try to call to the kitchen, get you something to eat, give yourself some fuel, some energy for the rest of the day. Feed your mind, talk to God, feed yourself with positivity. You turn your negative. Like it took a little process, but after you become content with something, sometimes that's when God be like, "All right, time to move. All right, time to get married." Like you get content with being single, he like, "Oh, here's your husband. Oh, you get content with this job. Oh, here, I want you to quit that job." So he tends to do that a lot, but it took me to get to a moment where I was content with my situation. And how do you change it? And I was like, okay, well, I'm not in control. So what can I do? Feed yourself with the word, feed yourself with God, feed yourself with positivity. And that's all you can do. And when you do something habitually like that, you gotta see change. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? You gotta see it.
Man, that's whoo. I'm just sitting here thinking about that, man. If I, sometimes how like they say you put yourself in other people's shoes, and and
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes people they want the life that they see you have now, but they don't know the struggles that you went through to get to where you are today. It's like you said earlier, we all want that fast.
The
Everything is
instant
fast paced now.
gratification.
Yeah, it's instant grits, instant oatmeal. We want everything microwave mentality, and sometimes it takes for God to sit you down in a situation before you're able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so I want to ask you on you. I know you talk about like the comeback, right? But before we get there, so at what point once you got there, how did you get back into a place of like to where you could walk one, and then how did your life kind of go after that?
So this is my favorite part of the story. So this is why they say your obedience is so important because it affects others.
Yeah.
So in the midst of that time of me like filling myself back up with God, he was showing me like the way that you got here is because you never listened to the small people along the way that I said for you to stop being in that relationship,
Yeah.
for you to not go on that trip. When I told your friend to invite you to her birthday trip and you still went to that trip instead, you wouldn't have broke your leg. Just little stuff like that. But anyways, said that to say, my father's obedience to choose Christ allowed for my aunt to choose Christ, which is his blood sister.
Yeah.
She is like my father in split image, but I look like my aunt. So she's always treated me like her baby. She has her own children, but she always treated me like her baby. And I knew that when I was with God, um, my family was the first people that I would call when I had a problem. But I had to go through so many years after moving to Atlanta with my mom, and we both were such isolated people. I was I was not used to calling my family no more. So
Mm.
I called my aunt one day. After I finally got back in a better mood,
Yeah.
like okay, I could talk to people. I called my aunt, and she became a minister at that time. So she was ready. She had her oil. She like, oh, we finna pray over the phone. Let's go. I was like, here
Not the
we go.
oil.
You know what I'm saying? I just want a little motivation. But little did I know that me thinking I'm gonna call her for 20 minutes gonna turn into a 3 hour phone call, three, four
Mm.
hour phone call. And I remember I don't remember the prayer that she was saying, but I remember I'm talking about she praying, she warring in the spirit. And I'm so broken and depressed that I'm just crying, but I'm listening, I'm listening, I'm listening. And I remember sitting in my cast was like probably like this long because my leg was broken in like 5 places from my ankle to my knee.
Mm.
So I have about 13 screws and a 12-inch rod in my right leg. So I remember looking at my casket, just crying over, and I'm looking like, this ain't gonna change. This ain't gonna change. My situation ain't gonna change. And then I remember her in the midst of the prayer, like I'm crying, and she like, now you gotta believe on your own. You gotta believe. And I'm listening. And I'm like, I thought I do believe. And she
Mm.
tried me again. She like, you need to believe. If you don't believe God is not gonna do nothing for you. And I'm like, girl, I do believe God. If I pray to Him, and then it was just something in me that let go. Like I said, like after the 9 months, he finally reminded me, like, you're not in control. So it was just something in me that just like, girl, let go. Just listen. Just listen to what she's saying. And I remember like, I don't know, something came over me. I want to cry. Something came over me. And I was just like,
That Holy
I was like,
Spirit,
girl,
girl.
what you doing? And she was like, now get up.
Mm.
And she started speaking in tongues. I'm like, man, this lady, you told me to believe cool. I feel calm. I feel at ease. But now you telling me to get up. Ain't nobody here. If I fall and bust my behind. She like, I told you to believe, right? And my family from New York, so they talk the gangster. Like
Yeah.
before Keisha Gibson came out, that was my family. Like, yo, what did you talking about? You don't get it together, you going to hell. Like they do not play that. So she's going in. She's like, get up right now. I'm like, no. She's like, in the name of Jesus, get up right now. I'm like, man, let me try to get on up in here. So I start putting my leg that's still mobile down. And of
Mm.
course it had less strength, less weight on it,
Yeah.
because it wasn't as strong anymore. But I have a video on my Instagram showing my first steps. And I just started walking. And I hit what like my feet was like this, like it was like really stiff, but I was moving
Dang.
and I was like, God, is this you? And now crying on now boo crying. Now she going even crazier. She praying even harder. She going in tongues even
Hey,
harder. I'm like, nah,
love
this
it.
is for real. God, you
Love
for
it.
real? Like I knew you was God and I knew you, you know what I'm saying, you might sprinkle a little blessing here or there, two or two.
Yeah.
But you really can heal people. Like that's what
Mm.
I'm thinking while she going on the phone. I'm like, you really can heal people? No, there's no way. So that's when I had like a moment of you always had a relationship with God through your parents' image, but you never had a relationship with me through my relationship with you. Like
Mm.
through me, you never said you hurt me. You never said you spoke to me and got an answer. I'm showing you for yourself now. Like you're too old now. You need to be mature in the spirit. You might be a baby in the spirit, but you need to be mature. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
old enough to be mature to understand. this is how I'm speaking to you. And I'm so hard headed that I feel like he can only speak to me in the way that I know how, which would be something like that.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro, y'all can't believe this happened. Like for real.
Yeah.
So that's was the beginning of me walking in here. I want to say that night I started just like trying to move an inch. It was painful as heck. But by the next week, I got up and I entered myself into physical therapy. I didn't have a lot of money anymore because that was a long time of me being embarrassed. However, I went to physical therapy probably like 2 or 3 times. I learned the exercises that they gave me, and then I probably was at home for the next month or two, like doing those exercises over and over until I could teach myself how to walk again because I was so ready to get back in the studio. So I
Yeah.
was forcing myself, but with his strength, of course. Um, and then by the time that I was able to walk with like one crutch, my manager was like, "All right, come on, you want to go finish this album? Come on, you getting on my nerve. You've been crying all this year, talking about how you do da da da. I've been telling you to heal. Let's go." So that gave me even more motivation. I was like, "Oh, great, we can get back to work. I've been workless. I am bored. I am broke. I need to figure this out." All I know is that I'm blessed. Thank you, God, I made it out of it. So I had a better attitude. I was a different person. I was a lot more mature by the time that I got back up. But yeah, it took me a little minute, but I definitely got back up. And once we finished the album, I was still limping, still walking a little weird, still on a crutch. But I want to say by the time that it was time for me to simply walk by myself, um, which is like towards the end of the 11 months, I want to say, I want to say 2 weeks later, in the midst of that time, I had finally, got back my relationship with God and hearing His voice and knowing His voice when He speaks to me and knowing when He says do this and turn left and turn right. And I had heard Him throughout those 2 weeks of me getting back into walking. I heard
Yeah.
Him say it's time to move. I heard Him say kick the dust off your feet, because the city that you're in does not appreciate you. And I showed you that by breaking you. I shattered you. I built you back up. And you see that I'm still here. So I'm telling you to do something and I'm telling you to do it now. And I moved myself to a whole nother state within 2 weeks with a still with a jacked up leg.
Man.
And I was like, okay, I guess I can't do it my way no more. I guess I gotta listen every time he tell me to do so.
Man. And that is powerful. And during those times, I know those low times, it brings about a lot of different thoughts, that can come across your mind, like you said, of giving up, like, man, am I ever going to get back right? And to sit that long. And even though now looking back, it might seem like that's something that you're gonna always remember. You'll never forget that, and you'll never forget that time. But I'm gonna ask you this: do you ever, even after that, have you ever felt like God was silent, and even when you was trying to like Lord, like He ain't saying nothing. I'm praying, Lord, and I'm not seeing anything. You know, how did that make you feel? If you even felt that way, or if He was just talking to you and you just wasn't listening.
Mhm. So if I could break it down, like because I'm a visual person. So
Yeah,
if I could break it down like this. So we got 11 months. We got 12 months in a year, right? So the first 3 months he showed me this is how you react when there's an inconvenience in your life. You don't care. You don't take it serious.
yeah,
6 months go by. He's like, okay, now I showed you when you don't take stuff serious, such as is something as big as breaking your leg. It even goes down to show you never took seriously the type of friends you chose, the type of career you choose, the
mm,
type of people and environments you wanted to be around. Now I'm gonna show you your friends are there for you. This is that and other, right?
mm,
Let me see. So where we at? We at nine.
yeah,
We at 9 months. Okay, so maybe like 9 months later, I'm like, okay, you showed me something. Now you quiet. What I'm supposed to do now? I can't walk. I can't eat. I can't move. I can barely go to the bathroom. What I'm supposed to do now? Now my bills is due. Now my rent due. I don't have no way of making no money. I'm used to being an entrepreneur, standing on my feet for 13 hours, doing makeup and hair. I can't do nothing. What do you want me to do?
mm,
Um, that's when I felt like he was silent those last 3 months. And then when I got on the phone with my aunt, it was like I was hearing him again. That's how I heard him say move to Houston.
yeah,
When it was time for me to move to Houston, I heard him say within those 2 weeks, I heard him say, I'm about to bless you with a couple $1,000s. And when I say I woke up one morning to a couple $1,000s in my bank account, I'm telling you to this day, I don't remember where it came from. He said, I'm about to bless you with a couple $1,000s. He said, you're going to take a few days, you're going to go get a car. I did what
Mm,
he said.
mm, mm, mm.
But by the grace of God, because when his favor rans true and you got some obedience, he gonna show you that, right?
Yeah.
Pulled up to the dealership, got a chance to walk up with a brand new car, $0 down.
Mm.
I said, okay, well, now what am I supposed to do with this car? How am I supposed to pay for this car? He's like, you're gonna go to Houston and you're gonna pay for the car. I'm like, what? So now I'm packing to go to Houston. Now he's silent again. Well,
Mm.
how am I supposed to make money to pay for the place that I got a lease with? Then all I hear is, you gonna put your place on Airbnb because you always wanted to do Airbnb. You always wanted to do real estate. You love decorating places. You've been decorating your room every day long week since I created you. You don't know how to sit down. I'm
Mm.
giving you another project. Do what I said. Then he went silent again. This is now we in the last 3 months. I'm looking like, okay, how you just keep dipping on me? I'm getting upset. I'm angry. I ain't got nowhere to talk to. Nobody can tell me. I ain't have nobody in my family that do real estate. No friends that do real estate. You telling me to start real estate? What is it? Short term rental property business. How the heck am I supposed to do that? You've been in business for 14 years. I'm finna teach you through all your trials that you don't learned along the way. You use that and you do that. I'm like,
Man.
okay, whatever. Get to Houston. Before I get to Houston, tried to mess with my ex again. We
Mm.
got in a car accident the night that we hung out. Car accident almost took us both out in the brand new car that I just bought. God said, and I'm gonna still make you drive that car. Now I'm gonna make you drive a car with airbags deployed to the new state because you don't listen.
Oh
Now I'm gonna be
man.
silent again. Do what I said the first time because you kept trying to stay. You trying to stay, see that boy, and that boy not good for you. I'm like, okay, this man upstairs just keep getting silent on me, but you just telling me what to do. I'm not used to that. So I'm getting angry, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting frustrated and flustered. And I'm also confused because I'm like, you telling me to do something, I don't know what I'm doing. I was on Airbnb for 2 weeks. Within that 2 weeks of me learning how to walk again, I made $10,000 from my apartment. The same apartment that he told me how to create. But I was just doing it thinking I'm being creative. But I'm just hearing something in my spirit say, get that red rose, put that on that wall. Get that, go to this place and pick up that painting. You didn't know you was gonna get that painting today. Get that painting. Like just the things that was built along the way. Me seeing it come into life, like I'm looking like, God, you've been doing this whole time.
Yeah.
So now I'm up. I can move.
Mm.
Next thing you know, boom, eviction. Airbnb that told on me, the property manager's coming out, and I'm like, God, you you being quiet for real now. Like now you're not saying nothing. You letting me get in trouble. You told me to do something. What was the point of all of this?
Mm.
So now the money that I made gone. And I'm like, why would he do this to me? And then once again, I went through a season of you gotta rely on me. Took that car, $300, moved to Houston. Soon as I got to Houston, I toured an apartment in the midst of having that eviction on the record. While I'm in court for the eviction, trying to pay the eviction off, I got approved for a brand new apartment, a condo that I've been wanting to get into. Same type of floor plan I've been asking for. Couldn't believe it. I'm like, this is, y'all gonna get it to me? Are y'all insane? I'm going through it. Like, but lo and behold, my leasing manager was my pastor while I was there.
Man.
So it just God, he got silent, but he say what to do, and then he'll go back. Like you still don't believe me now. You still don't believe me now. You still don't believe me now. I'm not gonna talk to you. Really believe me. Get to Houston, he's silent still. Messed up leg, brand new apartment, going through it in Atlanta. Still ain't got no money. He like you still don't believe me. So then I created a prayer closet, and then
Mm.
I started hearing him. And that's when everything just started happening fast. Like, boom, apartment in Houston starting to get together. The eviction case got dismissed. Um, I'm walking better. I got probably like 3 new jobs as soon as I got to Houston. I became a substitute teacher. I was in marketing and I was also working at Ulta Beauty. So I was still being able to gain clientele doing hair and makeup. Lo and behold, boom, my leasing manager, like, yeah, by the way, your apartment comes with a studio that's next door if you ever want to, rent it out. It's only $100 extra on your rent. And you know what I'm saying? You can take your clients in there. You gave me an office too? Like
Man.
it was happening so fast. But I feel like certain people and sometimes when you're in situations like that, if you're not careful, you can mess up your blessings because you don't believe it.
Yeah.
Because he is technically silent during those times because he only speaks back in like response to your obedience.
Yeah.
So every time I would question him, I would do it, but I always got to question first, and I feel like I do that to my parents. Like, yeah, fine, I'll do the dishes, but why? You know. so,
Hey.
so yeah, I was definitely frustrated and flustered. Like,
Yeah.
God, you out here playing Uno, reverse, reverse. Bring it back, +1, skip 4. I couldn't believe
Hey.
it.
Listen, I look at like what you're describing is almost like the children of Israel. I know me and you kind of
Mm,
talked about that before, how man they murmured, complained, they literally watched God through Moses, I mean, just take them through the Red Sea. You literally walk through on dry land. And he still complained after they made it across. They like, hey man, we're gonna die. Like, where our food coming from? Lord, where's this coming from? And he rained manna down from heaven for them. And they still was complaining, Lord, we're gonna die of thirst if we better off in Egypt. But see, I really believe this. I believe that it said in the word that God took the children of Israel on a roundabout way just so they can learn how to war because their mentality was all slave mentality. They had been slaves so long that they didn't know how to fight. So they had to teach them how to fight. And I believe he was learning Muva Dame how to war for him.
mm-hmm.
So where did this take me to this homeless stint? What happened with this homeless stint? Was that during that time period of losing the apartment or
So in the midst of me losing the Airbnb in Atlanta
yeah,
while moving to Houston, like I said, that was my first time creating a prayer closet. So this was my first time truly like dying to my flesh. Like God had me get a bunch of notepads and put them all over the closet, and I just was writing down everything that ever traumatized me,
yeah,
everything that ever hurt me, everything that I needed to forgive, all the sins that I've done, all the covenants that I've made unknowingly. Um, just the little things that he had me just writing, 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 writing. And I'm talking about I'm booing, crying, pouring, and every night, every day. Like it was new beginnings, but it was sad for me. Like it felt sad. Um, in the midst of that, my father was pulling me a lot, like telling me I'm feeling sick, I'm getting weaker. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I just think that that's just a man being a man, especially when men get old. You know what I'm saying? As it's not as often as women, but when men get old, they be wanting to have somebody to come take care for them.
yeah,
And I think in that season, God was also showing my father, like, you spent all your life having these pretty women around you, and you have a daughter who will drop everything and take care of you. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of things that we both needed to see in that season. But um, I probably was in Houston for 6 months, and because I was still depressed, like you said, like how the children of Israel was feeling, like I technically was ungrateful. Like, what? Like, God, what are you doing? Yeah, like, yeah, you brought me here, you helping me out, you giving me jobs, but I still only got an air mattress here. I
mm,
got a whole apartment in Atlanta with brand new stuff, brand new things. I can't even go get it.
mm,
You got me here. Yeah, I get to go out every day. Yeah, I get to spend time. Yeah, I'm spending money. Yeah, you blessed me with money when I got here, but now what? I ain't got no friends. I ain't got no guidance. Yeah, you told me about my pastor, but by the time I got here, you allowed my car to just make it here. My car just made it there. After that, my car was demolished. It went through so much stuff by the time we got there. So I'm just like, what are you doing? So after 6 months of complaining instead of embracing the news, um, even though I was praying, I was dying to my flesh, I was learning what God wants and what He don't want, I still was sinning. So I was not understanding that, obedience comes with sacrifice.
yeah,
Um, because He knew me and He knew I wasn't gonna change. And He like, you still want to go work at the club, you still want to go bartend, you still want to do what you want to do. I'm gonna have your daddy call you because that's the only man that can make you move on earth. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Picking up every time my dad called out. Yes, dad. Yes, dad. So now he telling me he's feeling weaker. He feeling this. He feeling that. And now it's starting to hit me because my dad is like my soft spot.
yeah,
And I'm like, well, what I need to do? You need me to pull up? So I get to New York. 2 weeks turned into 2 years.
Wow.
When I see the condition that he was in, I was like, "Oh no, I'm not staying in Houston. I'm depressed in Houston anyway. I ain't got nobody out there. I don't know nobody. I'm saying, even though I got everything I want, I don't have no friends. I don't have no family up there." I said, "Oh no, I'm gonna move up here. All my family here." I get up there, I see his condition, and like I said, 2 weeks turned into 2 years because I knew my daddy could not take care of himself. Like I remember my first time like washing his feet and his toes. Like his pinky toe was like hanging on by like a string of skin about this thin. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to ball out crying because everybody who knows me and know my father, they know him as Big Arch. And Big Arch is known to be 6'7". He tall, dark skinned, nice teeth, big tough man. He'll smack anybody. You know what I'm saying? And when he got into church, everybody knew he'll still smack you. Y'all better be careful. Don't talk to him crazy. So to see such a strong man look so fragile, but he still got
Yeah.
his strong mindset to this day. But to see such a strong man look so fragile, it broke me. It broke me down. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. God, I know you gave me more, you blessed me with more, but if I can't even get a house big enough for my father to come stay with me, what am I staying out there for? So
Yeah.
even though my father stays in a dorm, I said, okay, well, if I gotta be out here, no money, no nothing, I'm gonna figure it out. Even though my family house is still there, the house that I grew up in, my
Yeah.
grandmother's house, people live there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going back to living with six, eight, nine people in a house, at that time.
Yeah.
So, and it really truly, in New York, ain't no room. Ain't no room for real. It was no room for me. Um, so I was couch to couch, house to house, sometimes with strangers. Some days I just stayed on the street all night. I would go to sleep in his wheelchair some days, like, well, I'll come spend some time with him, hang out with him, take care of him, feed him, wash him.
Mm.
And sometimes I wait till he falls asleep and I fall asleep in his wheelchair. Um, but I was doing it so long that I had fallen back accustomed to poverty mindset. Like you said, like how the children of Israel, they had to get that out of them
Yeah.
mentally. You know what I'm saying? That's just like when you get saved. Like people think you're going stop drinking, stop smoking, stop cussing in a day. And Rome wasn't built in a day. And yeah, it takes your belief, but you truly can't do it on your own. So God was showing me like, yeah, I told you to be obedient and listen to Houston, but you thought you was just gonna become this soft life rich girl. Like, no, you still gotta work. You still came from nothing again, which is what I needed you to do. So I can show you you have other skills, other talents. Now you ain't using them. So now I'm gonna bring you to a place where you ain't using nothing.
Yeah.
But your heart. And I'm gonna show you how to love you. I'm gonna show you how to take care of yourself again. I'm gonna show you what it's like when you don't have nothing and show you how rich you truly are when you don't have anything. And like he just like used that moment, you know what I'm saying? But it was hard in New York, you know what I'm saying? But I'm from there. So they ain't
Yeah.
scared me. I think I finally got set up when it was like I was sleeping in places that had like roaches and rats, and I was just like, "This is not you." You know what I'm saying? Like, you claim to be so tough and whoopie whoop, but this is not your lifestyle. This is not what God wanted for you.
Yeah.
But He is showing you like this is what happens when you move because of man. Even
Yeah.
though it was my father, you moved because of man. I blessed you with something. You went back to poverty mindset. You didn't think you deserved it. You didn't think that he could do something good or nice to you just because you've been sinning, just because you've been falling short. You didn't think that God could hear your daddy. So you just felt like you just gonna come up in here and fix him. You know what I'm saying? Like just little
Yeah.
things along the way. So
Man.
yeah, that was it was a tough season. And it was used to bring me back into digital marketing, content creation. Like I was using my phone more. When I didn't have nothing, no physical money, no kit. I had no makeup kit no more. I had no place to do aesthetically pleasing videos. He was like, "Well, what else you got?" I'm like, "Well, I got my phone. I'm gonna record, I'm gonna edit videos, I'm gonna tell people that I'm doing this, I'm in this place, da, 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 da." So then I started doing hair and makeup again. I work out of different shops. I would get so popular in such a short period of time, I lost the job, back to abortion. Everything kept aborting. Didn't understand what was going on.
Hmm.
But in the midst of those 2 years, I networked. While I was out on the block, New York, guys be on the block. I met a few producers. I go to Brooklyn, do a couple records. Next thing you know, I'm probably like maybe 40 records in. This is like 2 weeks before I heard God say, "Now you leave New York again." I said, dang, I'm just getting started. Like I told you earlier, like you just started getting cool. I'm getting cool with my situation. Like, yeah, I'm living somewhere that's nasty, dirty. I don't care. I get to be around my dad. But once again, he was like, no, now I'm showing you. Okay, you know what it's like to struggle. You know what it's like to be without. You're not complaining about it anymore. You're seeing that your mindset was negative. You're seeing that you was poverty mindset. You're seeing where you grew up at. I brought you back to a place that I'm showing you. Your mother moved to that state and you got a whole new life. You're spoiled as hell. You didn't know that you came from this broke step. You ain't know
Yeah.
that you came from this broke mindset. I'm showing you yourself all over again. But now you're in a different space and I got to take you to a different space. So once I got, cool with what was going on, doing records, I'm doing content, I'm getting back in the field, I'm working here and there. Um, Even though they fire me, I'm getting back up and I'm going to find another job instead of like sitting and sulking and being
Yeah.
depressed. That's when he moved me again. He was like, all right, now you're gonna go back to Atlanta. And now I'm forcing you to do it. My aunt called me one morning. She was like, can you come to the house? I need you to do something for me. I get to the house and she passed me a ticket. And she was like, you can't stay here. So, and I wasn't staying at her house. Keep in mind, I told her I was from couch to couch with people I
Yeah.
didn't know. Um, but she was like, "You can't stay in New York no more. Here's a ticket." I looked at her like, first of all, I'm grown. Okay. And what are you talking about? We get to the airport. She's like, "Yeah, you're going out of town because I'm going out of town." She goes out of town. I miss my flight. This is where obedience come in again. God showed me in that week, you chose to be homeless. Like I said, I chose that. You
Yeah.
chose poverty mindset. You chose like that you felt like you didn't deserve what God bless you with. He showed me in that short period of time. I left the airport, had to book my own other flight. In order for me to book my own other flight, because I was getting fired from jobs, I had to go find another side job real fast. End up working at Dollar General for like 2 weeks just so I could save up for a ticket. Long story short, the manager of that Dollar General, he was where I stayed at. He let me stay at his apartment because he had just moved into a new apartment. He was like, "Yeah, I stay in Manhattan. You can come stay out there on the couch or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. Just make sure you don't work all time." But of
Yeah.
course, you can't trust stuff because the devil could be counterfeit to like come
Oh
in the
yeah.
way of somebody trying to help you. And of course,
Yeah.
he's trying to mess with me. But that was God showing me. I told you to leave when your auntie gave you a free ticket. You were scared to go back to Atlanta because you're homeless. I don't care. I didn't ask you to go back to Atlanta. So I'm over here trying to stay in New York. Oh, I want to take care of my dad. Yeah, but you're homeless. You don't have nothing going on. You're working at a Dollar General. You don't have nothing going on. I'm like, no, guy, like I'm finally in my move of I don't care if somebody, kick me while I'm down, I'm gonna get back up. And he's like, no, you didn't listen the first time. You left the airport. Now buy your own ticket and get out of here. I end up getting sick.
Mm.
Sick to this day. I have now diagnosed with asthma, severe asthma. My lungs had shut down. I started coughing, wheezing, couldn't breathe. It just came out of nowhere. And to this day, I have really, 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 really bad asthma. But that's what happened when we don't listen. Like he's like, I was trying to show you. I was trying to tell you. Like you don't listen. I'm using you to do certain things for certain times. Like in the midst of that time, I do feel like my dad had got so much strength in him. Like he's still here to this day by the grace of God. And I pray that he is still here for many more years.
Yeah.
But when God say a season is over, you gotta get.
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't did
Girl, you sound like Jonah. Hey, look, he told him to go preach to Nineveh and he didn't want to do it. So Lord was like, all right, you
Okay.
want to go get on this boat. I'm gonna have this fish swallow you up and
Hmm.
humble you for a little bit. So I think
Okay.
like the humility in that, learning those lessons that God was, definitely walking you through because girl, man, that's a tough thing. When you don't want to heed to the word of God, sometimes man, we are going to reap the benefits of the choices that we made. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we made some real hard choices. And we will struggle and he'll be like, look, because see, this is the thing I don't think people really understand, right? When Jonah did not obey God by going to Nineveh, right, to preach to those people, a storm came.
Mm.
Sometimes we believe that every storm that comes in our life is from the enemy. That's not the case. Some storms are from God. So you can't pray them away. You know what I'm saying? So some
Mhm.
things are from God because he's trying to get you. He doesn't like the direction that you're going. And he's trying to change you up so that way you can go down the road that he's already said he prepared for you. So
Mhm.
I mean, if we listen and then in the midst of it, hey, look, I'm telling you, we just like them because Jonah, boy, he was still complaining when he got there to preach to the people of Nineveh. So and then not only that, but I'm gonna ask you this too. So, you know, how did this because I know I met you doing makeup. You was doing makeup for a shoot at the studio, and I'm
Mhm.
like, man, there's something about this person. And then when I finally got to see your page, you was like, hey, follow my page, and I'm like, I knew it was something about her because of your spirit. And I started seeing all this stuff about the Lord and stuff. I said, man, that's it right there. Because we all have a path that we go down that we think is right. It says in the word that a man thinks he knows the way to go, but the way that he's going ends in the destruction. And that's kind of how what you're explaining now. But I do want to talk about your successes too, because
Mhm.
you have a very successful makeup business. I mean, how do you what do you call it? What is it? Not makeup.
It's Dame House.
Yes, Dame House. So tell us about how did that develop out of all this that you done went through? How and where did Dame House come from?
So I used to have a group called Dames. We had really big parties back then. We have some nice videos on YouTube, but we were kind of like the first young women in Atlanta to kind of get into the digital market as far as promotion through YouTube.
Yeah,
And by the grace of God, that was because I had a mentor at the time when I was in high school, probably like 2008, before DSLR and photography and videography really became a thing. And
yeah,
he was cold at it too.
yeah,
So I had just like lucked up, shout out to Ryan. That's my mentor to this day. But Ryan was like, I see something in you, and I'm going to create a group of young entrepreneurs, a conglomerate of young kids that I feel like will be big in this industry or be big in general. And he was like, I want you to be a part of that.
yeah,
Our first couple videos started taking off, but me seeing myself on camera, excuse me, and seeing myself presented the way he presented it, I was like, "Oh, I could do this." So I started a group called James because I was always kind of popular. So I took advantage of the fact that I was always popular and I was always different. So I said, "Let me go find some girls who look like me, just different. You just stand out. You can't help but stand out. Everybody don't get to know you, but you're so quiet, you're so shy." I was like, "Maybe if I bring us all together, we can stand out together." So I found some girls and we became really cool, really good friends. Like I let my discernment help me pick who the girls was. And we all became really cool, became really popular. We had some big, huge parties. And one day I went to jail.
mm,
We had probably like a successful run of like 3 years. And then one day I went to jail. And they said they was gonna help my mom bail me out and they didn't. And when I got back home after a month, I think I was like 17 at the time. They had found out that I was 17 because I went to jail. They didn't know my age. But
man,
the girls who I basically hired, they were older than me. Why wouldn't they be? I'm creating a promotional group. I can't get in the club. You can. So how else we gonna make the money? Um, so yeah, they ended up finding out I was 17, so they kind of turned against me
mm,
and they took my name. But Dames was spelled the A was spelled with a V, like
yeah,
a diamond. So I took my name back and I did the A, created a whole new page, but then I put house behind it. And I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I don't want to do parties no more. They're doing all the parties. They keep throwing the parties. They getting bigger and bigger because we used to have celebrities at our parties like Jacquees, Benny Gang Marco, Travis Porter. Like we used to rock with a lot of people. So once I seen like it was me and it was like a girl who was like the co-CEO and she's really, really popular too. So once she said something, they ran like minions. So I
yeah,
had no way to get my girls dressed. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, well, create something of your own, keep your name because they don't know nothing about business because I've always been into business. So I knew they didn't patent it. I knew they didn't get no LLC because I didn't get the LLC.
yeah,
And I knew they wasn't gonna pay for it because I was the one in the group who had always made sure I made some money. So I was like, okay, Dame House it is. Started a new Instagram. Now I'm like, okay, I could recruit girls, but don't want to throw parties no more. I feel like God bringing me out of that season. I feel like me going to jail was God saying, stop partying so much. I need you to find out what you're doing. You just got out of high school. You haven't been to college yet. You don't want to go to college. What are you going to do? Time to take your life serious. So I was like, okay, well, what am I good at? Got out of jail. I want to say like a couple weeks after being out of jail, I walked through the mall and I seen this woman who had a sign up saying now hiring. And she stood out to me because she had really bright colored hair. And that's how I used to like dress back then.
Yeah.
This is when girls were scared to wear colored hair. Like the girls who I signed on to names, they were colored hair girls. You know what I'm saying? Just the girls who were not scared to just go against the grain. Um, but yeah, I asked the woman, I'm like, hey, I know how to do makeup. She's like, you do? Go find somebody in the mall right now and do it. I said, oh, and what the hell did I tell her that? So now I'm running around the mall trying to find somebody. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But luckily I had to remember I told you Ryan, my videographer,
Yeah.
when I was 15, he had me on Peter Street, me and all the girls that was in the entrepreneurship group, and we were interning for people like Wish, for 255, for Spin, for House of a Dream. Like before people really knew who was the it people, Black Hollywood, that's what it was
Yeah.
back then. But we were interning and we was the youngest kids on the block. We didn't know we had that much, connection, but we was connected to people who were really entrepreneurs in Atlanta. So they had taught us so much along the way that by the time that I got with that makeup artist, I had already had the skills of doing market runs,
Yeah.
like walking physically to go gain clientele. So I used what I had in that season to find somebody in the mall. I got somebody in my chair probably within like 30 minutes. I started doing her eyebrows, and it was decent. Because I've always had a gift of art and paint. But it was decent. She gets up, the lady looked at me and she's like, and she was very intimidating. That lady was very intimidating. And she looked at me and she was like, I know you don't know how to do makeup. She was like, but the fact that you wanted to try and you seem like you're really serious, I'm gonna give you a chance and I'm gonna show you a little something. So
Mm.
I stayed with her company first, number one, because not only because she had colored hair, but when I started working for her, I seen that she only played gospel music at her job every day. At her beauty booth, she only played gospel music. And at that time, she was one of the only beauty booths in the mall. Um, but she was big. She was big on God. She would always talk about God. And I used to be like, not to, stereotype, but I used to be like, how you look so trendy and hood,
Yeah.
but you talk about God. So that's when I knew like I could be myself. I could
Oh,
be
yeah.
myself. So she gave me a chance. I probably was there for a couple years. And then after that, I went to another booth. I went to another booth. And within like 2 or 3 years, I was so good and I had so much clientele that I said, forget it. I'm about to just start taking my own so I can make 100%. I begged and begged my mom, can I start taking people at the house? I ended up building out my dining room into a little salon and I started booking out. Within the first year, it got so bad. I had 4 girls in my dining room doing makeup with me because I was so booked. I couldn't take all the people. And I remember looking around and I was like, God, what am I gonna do? My mama gonna kick my behind having all these people in this house. So by the time it was like that was like 2014. From 2014 to 2016, which is what I have tattooed on me. That's when I opened my first salon suites. I opened 2 salon suites. I hired 10 girls, some of the best girls in the city to this day. And we became the next big thing. Like that's when Dame House got its own name. So
Yeah.
Dames, nobody remembered Dames no more because the party started dying down anyway. Once
Yeah.
you lose, the person who really, once you lose your root, what I'm saying, the tree started to
Mm.
die. So
Mm.
they started dying off anyway. Dame House started getting its name. We started getting jumping. Next thing you know, I'm getting booked by celebrities all over Atlanta. Upcoming, Akbar V, Top Notch World. I'm going on Wild and Now. I'm getting booked on magazine covers. And at that time, I was too scared to really be doing these things, but I knew I didn't have nothing else. I knew me going to jail, being in jail, asking God, well, what's my purpose? Everything getting taken away from me. I'm in jail over a ticket for a month. What do you want me to do? You want me to find a job? So from that mindset to, okay, you have me find a job and now you have me doing a job that isn't really in 2016, a makeup artist wasn't a real job.
Yeah.
Even my parents was trying to talk me out of it. They're like, "You need a real job," but I still just kept believing in myself. Like, girl, stop listening to everybody. You're good at it. You got all these people that's willing to, rock with you. Keep going. Um, but of course, when you're that young and you have that much potential, if you're not careful, you can be naive.
Yeah.
Because the devil will send distractions, and that's exactly what happened. But um, yeah, it kind of like it built from there. It built from there. We just kept getting bigger and bigger. I kept hiring on new girls. I dropped some new girls. Sometimes I keep going solo. But eventually, a couple years later, I want to say I started getting booked in different states, and then I realized that people were booking for me,
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, "Oh, you got a brand. Run with it. God gave you a brand. Look at you. You go and do all this hell and high water, but God gave you a brand.
Yeah.
Make it work." And from there, I just never stopped. Like all I knew was network. Make sure somebody know your name. Put your brand on your products. Make sure everything you wear, everything you have on is from your company. You need to be everybody you talk to needs to know what you do. And yeah, it just kept going. Thank you, Lord. It just kept
Hey,
going.
listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Like, to see where you came from, the injury, the shift in your life, the change, and I'm hearing a lot about, trusting in God and doing exactly what He says. As an entrepreneur, I know a lot of young people out there uh, want to know, like, what would you advise young women, or yeah, young women. What would you advise young women that are in similar situations, like they feel like they have something that they can, build on, but yet they don't really know what to really do to, maintain what they have? Like, how would you push them into their destiny as far as what they desire to do?
Well, number one, I would say always consult with God first. That needs to be your first business partner.
Yeah.
Um, if it wasn't for me sitting in that cell and instead of being depressed, just asking God, like, can you bless me with purpose? If
Hmm.
I'm just out here throwing parties, that's not what you want from me. I don't really know what I'm good at. I don't know what to do. Can you bless me with purpose? Ask for your purpose. Number one, because when you're doing something that's within your purpose, you will never feel like you're working.
Yeah.
Another thing I would say is don't listen to the background noise.
Yeah.
God is very intentional when He blesses you with mentors and people who are in your field, people who understand you, and people who can truly believe in your vision. However, um, everybody can dream, but everybody don't have your vision. So when God give it to you, like trust it the first time.
Mm.
I would definitely say trust it the first time, and of course, find a mentor. Find a mentor. If you can't find a mentor, if you can't find a mentor, look online for something that you use as guidance all the time. Because if I would have listened to people, even down to my parents, like my mom, because she had seen it in person, she believes it to this day. But my dad, to this day, he still be like that little job. That's because he ain't never seen me in person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He ain't never seen the motion.
Yeah. He didn't see
Um,
what you could do.
but yeah, but I would definitely say even down to your parents or your friends who just be like, "Oh, that little business." Don't listen to them because there are so many things that were created out of nothing. And when you follow your dreams, you give opportunity for somebody else to have followed their dreams. To this day, like half of the girls that I did hire, I remember when I did hire them, a lot of people would talk about them like, "Ew, they don't do makeup good. Don't nobody do makeup like you." They would talk so bad about them. And those same girls are overbooked and busy and charge more than me to this day.
Yeah.
That when somebody give you a chance, that's all you need is a chance. So look for somebody that's willing to give you a chance. And if somebody says no, go look for your yes. Um, but yeah, definitely find a mentor.
And
That's
I do
important.
want to take this moment not to cut you off, Dame, but I do want to shout out Mary quite
Quite
contrary.
contrary.
Yeah, so she says, "Hi, Dame," and she's shouting
Hi,
you out.
sister.
So yeah, but Dame, I know you have a plethora of followers now. You got a lot of people that do follow you. What would you say to somebody that has been through a tough time like what you're going through, but they feel like there's no way out. Um, and I mean, just what would you say to a person that's gone through a situation like that?
I would say one verse that kept me would always be to not be anxious, but with prayer and supplication, make your request known to God.
Mm,
Um, every day is not going to be perfect. There's days where I've dealt with suicidal thoughts. There's days where I just slept in the bed all day. There's weeks where I just slept in the bed all week. Like there has to be some sun to this, you
yeah.
know. But I definitely think that that's where faith comes in. We treat God like a genie,
Mm,
but he doesn't just, move at the snap of our wish. It's more so a relationship that you have to create and truly understand that his will is greater than yours. So if you're going through it, it's because you're out of his will. I know they say, like, the road is with God is long suffering. The fruits of the spirit is long suffering, but that looks totally different for everybody in everybody's life. And just like the saying goes, God will never give you more than you can bear. So when something seems like long suffering, to others could feel like a failure to you. So it's just like,
yeah.
even if he says, "Oh, I want you to eat noodles for a week," don't cry about the fact that you got to eat noodles for a week because you don't even know that he's allowing you to save thousands of dollars so that you can have lobster next Friday.
Yeah.
There's always tomorrow. Basically, that's the advice I would give. I would say, if you're feeling like you can't do it no more, you feeling like giving up, there's always tomorrow. There's always a new day to start over. And I don't believe in quantum leaping, but I do believe in small changes making a big difference. And if
Mm.
you just try one tomorrow and do something a little bit different, you can see greater results. But you just have to be consistent for sure.
So, and another thing I'm gonna ask you before we start wrapping this up, I want to be cognizant of your time too. But
Wait,
what is so you already answered my question about what scripture do you hold on to, but how do you protect your peace?
mm,
Because with everything going on in today's society and men,
mhm.
relationships, how do you protect your peace?
I isolate a lot.
Mm,
I isolate a lot to the point where I'm just like, I don't let nothing bother me. I usually just blow things off in the wind. That's where they belong,
yeah,
in the air. Um, I don't really I don't really know how to answer that, because I think that I've been through so much that's why God has put me through a lot so
yeah,
that I could brush things off. But I think that's also because I'm highly sensitive. Um, so I would say I keep my peace by number one, giving peace.
yeah,
Number two, maintaining and controlling my mind, my thoughts. Number three, praying when
oh
when
yeah,
I'm going to and from. And I would say another thing that helped me as far as peace to this day would be pushing out procrastination.
yeah,
Procrastination is the arrogance that God will give you a second chance.
yeah,
So anything that you're not at peace with is because it's not happening, hasn't happened, or you're anxious of it happening. And it's like, if God gave me a chance to do something or to not do something, I'm just gonna trust in that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of
yeah.
just like let things be.
Okay. So, and then I'm gonna ask you this: since you're on never out of the fight, what does never out of the fight mean to you?
Never out of the fight means when you truly follow God, when you truly have anointing in your life, when you're truly chosen, there is no normal day for you.
Mm. Amen.
I have so many family members and friends who be like, "Oh my gosh, you just always got something going on." Some of them say it in a negative way, some of them say it in a positive way. However, that's what it is when you follow on God.
Yeah,
It's the life of the unexpected. He brings structure to your life, and you know he can create you a path. However, the road is extremely bumpy, especially because just as God is chasing after you, so is the devil. So just know that there's always going to be a distraction that you're trying to get rid of, remove yourself from. There's always going to be a counterfeit trying to enter into your space. There's
Yeah.
always going to be a monitoring spirit who wants to know everything about you, but they
Yeah.
probably will never talk to you in person. There's always going to be um, friends
Yeah.
who want to pick up on your anointing and start to act like you, start to move like you. There's always going to be witches, warlocks who
Oh
try
yeah.
to attack you in different ways, but you have to stay prayed up. You have to trust that God is going to have the, your best interest at heart, and and never stop praying. Like I feel like that's how people who are sick and stuff like that, that's how they go to hospice, or that's how we lose them.
Yeah.
Because they just give up.
Yeah.
And guys see that too. Like, especially the folks that be like, oh, or people who lost a spouse, like older people who lost a spouse. They be like, oh, I'm just ready to go. You tired of fighting. That's the problem.
Hey.
So
Hey, look, never out of that fight. So I'm gonna ask you this, Dame. Um, what's next for Muva Dame? What's next?
so as of right now, I have officially launched a new company, new brand called Altered Beauty. It's ALTAR' Beauty. And this is my era of dedicating my brand and my business back to God.
Yeah.
Um, Even though I've been in the business for 14 years, I've seen a lot of things. I've met a lot of people. I've done a lot of things. But doing it his way is always better.
Yeah.
So I decided to, number one, um, even though you see me dogs up right now, I only do these things if I'm going to work or a place that I have to be presentable. But I've grown to learn how to love my natural skin, my natural hair, speak life into other natural beauties, just embracing the things that God has already gifted us with. But because before social media and all of these wigs and eyelashes and all this stuff like that, the world was a better place. And I feel like women we're better people. Or we stopped relying on the vain things on the outside as if that is who we are or that controls who we are. So I've taken myself out of the idol of being vain over beauty, and
Huh.
now I'm just trying to pour into other women. I want a place, shout out to the woman who first gave me my job. I want a place where I'm no longer just catering to the dancers, the girls who just go into the club. I want a Christ faith led business
Hmm.
that is also offering beauty services, but natural enhancements only. I don't want to take away from the things that God has already blessed you with, which is your natural beauty.
Yeah.
And altered beauty will have Christian music playing every day. If you don't want to be here, don't get out. I'm not. That's how I'm fighting demons now. You gonna get out because you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not running nowhere else. Okay.
Amen. Amen to
um,
that.
for real. Like I said, natural enhancements. This is going to be the business that I am openly talking about Christ while you're in my chair. Towards the end of Dame House physical location closing, it was a lot of clients that would come in and we would end up in prayer sessions, and then weeks later, I'll hear that they gotten healed. I don't believe that I have any like spiritual gifts just yet, but I do
Oh,
believe that my prayer life is powerful. Even though there's times where I may not pray explicitly, I've always noticed that. Like if I ask for it, God don't play by
oh,
that.
yeah.
If it's in His will, He don't play by that. So
Yeah.
that'll be a place where you come to get Jamaica band, but before you leave, if you need prayer, we're having prayer. It's gonna be Bible scriptures, a whole wall full of scriptures.
Hey.
Um, there's the color is red now, which is representing the blood of Jesus. We're getting rid
Wow.
of the pink. No more girly twos. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown. I'm about to be 31 in a few days.
Okay.
So it's time for us to be women of God. And
You just made me
outside of my
feel
business,
old. I said you just made me feel old, but go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. But outside of my business, um, just I'm growing right now. I'm just growing
Amen.
internally. I've separated myself. So right now, Tanasia Dane has been working on music. I've been working on more positive music. When I went to New York, we were starting to work on a gospel album. Like I did release a song called Abort Mission while I was in New York, and that was about the abortion that I had.
Yeah.
But it was also a conversation with God. So the gospel music is coming. Even though this asthma be trying to get to me, we fight
We're
back.
gonna rebuke that in
Okay,
the
the fight
name of
is never over.
Jesus.
So
Amen.
I'm working on how to use it to still make music. And yeah, right now it's just new businesses, new music, new life on the way. Hopefully, amen.
Amen. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, man. You said something about your gift. You know, all of us do have a gift, and I know you have a strong one, and the Lord will reveal it to you. And he probably already have you working in it a little bit. What you trying to do now with your business? So you never know how many lives you really gonna truly affect. I wish we knew everybody whose life we came into contact with, but it's only really our job to plant seeds. The Father talks about how heaven is like the sower. I mean, the seed planter and the farmer. He always talk about it like a farm because when you plant a seed, you may not be the person that reaps the harvest, but you can at least plant the seed. Somebody else may come along and water it and nurture it, and then somebody else will reap the harvest. But as long as you plant those seeds, I believe that, you know, that's all that matters because you both will get the benefit of that. The sower that sowed the seed and
Yes.
the one that reaped. So I'm gonna tell you
Mhm.
this, Dame, man. I really do appreciate you coming on to Never Out of the Fight. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this too. It is you can see um what God has brought you through on your face, and I'm glad that I was able to meet you and then ask you to come on here to be able to tell your story of overcoming because you overcame a lot. I mean, through faith in God and just hey, look, that New York be coming out of y'all too. I believe Peter, you had a little bit of Peter in you, girl,
That's
because
that's my favorite one.
hey, I'm telling you, because Peter had to be from New York. I'm gonna just tell you, the brother, he was a
That's my
strong.
dad's favorite.
That's one. Hey, listen, that's one of mine too
Look at
because
the Bible.
Jesus knew this, and Lord, I'm just saying, Jesus knew who he needed to have with him in case of trouble. He had Peter,
Emergency.
James, and John. You know what I'm saying? He knew his three. You know what I'm saying? And that's a foreshadowing of something else too. But anyway, I really do. I thank you. For coming on Never Out of the Fight. And I really do pray that something that you have said tonight will touch one of the listeners to where they make a change in their life. Even and they can see, you know, continue. Like I said, guys that are on here right now, man, make sure y'all go follow her on all her platforms. She's gonna be posting this video everywhere, but y'all hear her testimony because it is a powerful testimony. I mean, I'm gonna have her back on here again because we got to talk more about, how she's doing in this new venture she's doing. So and we're gonna give y'all some updates. But Dame, is there anything you want to convey to any of the listeners before we close it down?
Um, well, this just came on my mind, and I pray that it's not the enemy. So I'm gonna say this. There's things that I didn't touch on that are pretty touchy, but I did mention a lot of things that were touchy. So I will say this: if there's any woman that's going out, I mean, that's out there, that's going through or has been through um, betrayal, disappointment, abortions, being kidnapped, being trafficked, being homeless, um, no family, um, broke, don't have a career, looking for your purpose. I have literally been through it all, and I can still sit here and say, like, I'm so grateful. God is so good. So I will definitely say, um, trust Him wholeheartedly. Trust that He will fix it because I've never seen a battle that He lost. And um, if you put Him first, all things will work out. I promise.
Oh yeah, it will. And you guys know what I always say. No matter what you're going through, no matter how tough life gets, remember with God, you're never out of the fight. And listen, I gotta play this song before we go out, man. This is my little jam right here. I know you was listening to it a little bit earlier with me, but I'm gonna play a little bit of this.
You mad at the caller? Can't block favor, I already had. Hand on my life, can't undo that. Yeah. Stay in your lane, don't step in that. God chose me, yeah, I stand on that. Grace too loud, can't silence that. Silence that. Say what you want, I've been past that. God chose me, and you big mad. Big mad, but I'm covered. Big mad, but I'm favored. Big mad, still rising. Big mad, God decided. Big mad, but I'm covered. Big mad, but I'm favored. Big mad, still rising. Big mad, God decided. I didn't pick this, I was picked before I spoke, before I lived, before the doubt, before the pain, before they tried to stain my name. You saw my fall, not my fight. You saw the dark, not the light. But what you missed while judging me was God rewriting destiny. God chose me. Pressure on them, oil run deep, no ceiling on him. Talk all day, still can't stop this. Favor on me, it's obvious. You watch close, still confused. How I win when I was bruised. I ain't lucky, I'm a sign. God chose me, that's by design. Who picked you? God did. Who kept you? God did. Who raised you? God did. Why they mad? Favor did. Who picked you? God did. Who kept you? God did. Who raised you? God did. Why they mad? I walked through fire, didn't fold. Pressure made me solid gold. Try to bury what I carry, but purpose don't stay temporary. You see glow, but not the grind. You see fruit, but not the time. Everything I got can't test it. Now I move like I'm protected. God chose me. I don't chase. What's for me can't be replaced. Talk, I'm still straight. Favor heavy, I'm in place. God chose me. I'm standing in it. Covered. No limits in it. Favored. No fear attached. Anointed. Can't take it back. You're not fighting me. You fighting what's on me. And that. You can't touch that. God chose me. God chose me. You can't